Anyways, on the other side of the survival horror sphere, because well, sphere.
What year is it? These
Yeah.
are the games we're talking about.
Again, it's Susie week because fucking Resident
That's
Evil
right.
4 got
Yeah.
revealed with extra footage as well, and
Lots.
lots of stuff from
Like a
Capcom on
like
RE4 remake.
way too much footage. Like
It
way
got
too much.
revealed with the footage that was like they didn't have to put that much out. They could have put out a 30-second clip of him running into the village and doing the one roundhouse kick,
It's the
and
entire sequence.
everyone would have gone, "Oh, cool, the roundhouse kick shit's still in, so the suplexes are still in, so all that shit is okay, good. I'm done. Just send it to me. Give it to me now." But instead they showed a ton of footage.
They explained like basically just how every new mechanic functions, which was like a dream for me. It's just like, oh, thank you so much for like confirming this game is like a weird survival horror action game. Like
Mhm.
just like a perfect definition of that. Like
Spike Spiegel style gun parries off the chainsaw in that
Knife
final
well,
parry.
that's his knife.
knife
And
parry. Knife parry.
you can't go around doing it all the time because it does break the knife and you have to repair it.
It's
Chainsaw parry.
balance
That's
it.
fucking wild.
It's really fascinating because we had the original remake back in 2004, I want to say, and that said, "Hey, you don't have a lot of player
2002.
control." 2002?
Yeah.
Jesus. You don't have a lot of player
I was
control when
thinking
an
about
enemy
it.
attacks you. So what if you had a taser? What if you had a knife? What if you had a grenade? Okay, so you hit the button, zombie attacks you, you stab him with the thing. Okay, great. And that didn't carry over into shit. Code Veronica had its busted knife, which was hilarious, but it didn't really carry over until Remake 2. And they go, "Hey, knife is back. What if you did knife stuff?" And the knife stayed in the guy. You can kill the guy and get your knife back. And the knife also has durability because the knife is actually super strong now. And if you unlock your frame rate, it's super
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah.
You're like, okay. And then RE3 comes out and you got the dodge. And like, okay, so we're taking these little ideas from the older games, but each character is, much like in the older games, getting more physically proficient. Like Jill in RE3
Yes.
laps Claire and Leon. Like it's not a problem. And then Leon in RE4 is an action man. So
Mhm.
what do? You take Action Man and you give him the knife mechanics that have been built up through the remake series, and now he's got good aiming, the ability to move his damn feet, and the ability to parry chainsaws and fucking pitchforks with a knife, but it still
Yeah.
degrades. So it's a resource, which is it's
It's
survival
really
horror. It's a resource.
it's genius design because it's like literally everything you do with that knife like degrades its
You do a
HP,
lot
you
of
know?
stuff with that knife.
Hmm.
Like now it's like so if you don't have that knife, like you can't do parries, you can't attack with the knife, you can't break away with the knife, you can't down kill an enemy now because that's a new
Mhm.
thing that they added from like 5 and 6, you know, where it's like if an enemy is laying on the ground, you no longer have to take your knife out and just like slowly stab them. You could just stab
Mhm.
them in the neck and kill them like right away. Well,
And so
probably
The
not
you
later in the game.
the feeling in
Less
two,
plot goes.
yeah, the feeling in two of just like shit. Should I use it now? Oh fuck, I broke it. Okay, like as a super limited resource was
yeah.
pretty cool. I like that.
and
Uh,
and it plays into the fantasy, which was kind of like back loaded in 4, where Leon uses his knife a little bit in the castle. He uses it to get the drop on Ada. He throws it at Salazar, but then when Krauser
Yeah.
shows up, we're knife fighting mans. We're basically reenacting the ending of Commando.
Yes.
But that's stuck in
Which
people's heads
it's
as
gonna
like,
be an actual boss fight now because with the
yeah.
parry, like,
hmm.
you know.
So, question for both of y'all actually. They've showed a lot. Are
Mhm.
you noticing remixed things like the other games
Oh, absolutely.
here that are like
Yeah.
okay?
Take it
So
away, Susie.
the first one. So it's really funny because I'm actually making a video on this. So I go really in depth in that video. It's gonna come out maybe tomorrow. Who knows? But the very first thing that stood out to me was aside from the tone, like literally being 3.5, like the blue, like dark blue, like
His
aesthetic
coat
of
is
everything.
not the coat from 4. It's the coat from Hookman demo.
His whole outfit is because he has like the weird like Metal Gear Solid like crotch like bandolier thing going on too. Um, the starting house is an actual house now. It's not just a one room shack with a
Mhm.
staircase that leads to a very video gamey window that you jump out of, and that's the
Yeah.
only function. Like it's a giant house with hallways,
You
multiple
go into the
rooms,
basement.
and a
There's multiple
basement.
rooms in the basement.
Yeah. So from everything that I've deduced so far, it feels like, and I'm sure you'll understand this, Pat, but it actually feels like this game is getting the RE1 remake treatment, where like
Yeah.
everything that we've seen so far is like literally the same, like beat for beat, but just developed more. You know, like it feels like this is like the game that they wanted to make originally, which was the
Yeah,
case for RE1 remake, you know.
it also has a lot of continuity in terms of design between the series of remakes. So, I mean, obviously Leon looks how he's supposed to look, but in RE4 you went into a one-room shack, the guy looks at you, goes, "Blah, I'm a monster," and you shoot him and blah blah blah, you run away. In this, uh so I looked at Village and I'm like, Village feels like a bunch of Hookman ideas that they decided to fuck with. Like there's the doll stuff, which is directly from Hookman. There's some of the horror stuff. There's the hallucination stuff, etc. So in Village, in your starting position, you end up going into a basement of a house, the same way you do in RE7. And then you do a little stuff like that. And upon leaving, you're encountering your first enemy, which is now how that's going to play out in RE4 in a way that is also a callback to the new RE2 remake's first encounter with a zombie for Leon, in which he physically stops you from going down a hallway. You can't exactly avoid him. He's in your path. I think he's
Yeah.
blocking a staircase. And in the original RE4, you could run around that dude. He didn't necessarily like he's in a nice little open room. You could go to the window and jump out and he'd
Oh
follow
yeah,
you in
no,
the back.
he like corners you.
This guy, yeah, it's unavoidable, and more importantly than anything, because he's attacking you in a basement, you actually see the fucking parasite like jerking around his head and breaking his neck out, because Plagas isn't a surprise anymore. Everybody's known about Las Plagas for like 20 years. There's no
Yeah.
reason to hide the fact that these are weirdo parasite freaks. They do hide how bad it is with the weirdo parasite freaks.
In the first,
And it even goes down.
when it first
Sorry,
launched.
it even goes down.
Sorry.
Sorry, after you. I'm sorry.
No, it was just a question about like when it first launched, because I played it, but I played it like way after. In the context you originally popped the game in on the first day, you were kind of like, oh, these are zombies, and then it takes a while before you realize that they're not, right?
No. In fact, the lead up to the game was literally all they would tell you about the enemies in RE4 was that they were not zombies. That was it. That was the only detail.
Okay.
And when you kill the first guy and examine him, what comes up is not a zombie.
Yeah, he's not a zombie. Dot dot dot.
Okay. Okay.
Like they're just like, yeah, they were just like enforcing it, just like this is a completely new threat.
And so for a third
Gamers.
of the game, you're like, what the are they just nuts? Are they it even continues down to sorry, after you.
It's really cool how they're using like what you're saying, like literally everybody knows about Las Plagas and all this stuff, so like yeah, why not just have the first enemy have tentacles coming out of every hole in his face. But like I talk about this in the video at great length, but I'm sure you noticed it too, Pat, because you notice everything. But like the Chainsaw Man now, like his eyes are literally popping out of the bag.
I did not
like
notice that.
So
cool. Okay.
I think he was a guy whose head exploded prematurely, and they put
so
a
he's
fucking
holding
bag over his head.
That makes perfect
Because
sense.
Las Plagas can't function in light, you know? So, and if you look like really carefully, like around the holes,
Okay.
it's like mashed potatoes and gravy, like under that mask, you know, with two eyes. Like it's not a face under that mask.
The bag is holding it together.
That's
Yeah.
that's a really good detail.
Cool. Okay.
So they're really like they're playing it from an angle of like, if you're buying this game and you played the original, you know what you're in store for. So like let's just run with it. If you don't know the original, you're just like, wow, these people are fucked up and something's going on. Like why? What's happening? You know? So I think it's really fucking cool.
One of the details that really stands out is that in terms of like continuity between different series is Salvador, no, the big cheese. What's his name? Mendez. Thank you. Mendez in the original is a 7.5, 8 foot tall guy who's bald and is wearing a green trench coat head to toe, and appears to be totally invincible. And you run into him multiple times in cutscenes in which he kicks your fucking ass in, and you shoot him and it doesn't do anything. So he is supposed to be evoking Mr. X. Like, yes. Leon dealt with Mr. X before, and then this guy is Mr. X, but can fucking talk to you and speak. It's a problem. Mendez is back in Resident Evil 4 Remake, and he has a hat now. And the reason why he has a hat now is because in Resident Evil 2 Remake, Mr. X has a hat now.
Yeah.
So they're carrying even the new design elements forward.
So he's like literally supposed to be an evolution of Mr. X, so why not?
So why not give him a hat?
Mr. X. Yeah, exactly. Whether or not that means he's going to be like a stalker throughout the game, I'm excited to see.
I can see him stalking you through one section. Like the section right before his boss fight.
Right before the barn, yeah. I could see that too.
Yeah, I saw someone posted a meme of like, oh, he took his hat. They did the little hat swap.
Yeah.
And I guess the other question is like, can you now aim just for the hat and shoot it off?
Assuredly.
I hope so. Because in the trailer they do show his mutated form for like a second. Just his spine. Like the camera pans up his spine and you see he looks exactly the same in the flaming barn and everything.
Yeah, so there were a lot of camera shots in there was the demo and then there was the trailer. The trailer seemed to go way out of its way to be like, listen, cuts of lots and lots of different moments and go, no, we no, it's still there. No, it's still there. No, it's still there. Del Lago's still there. Elegante's still there. Mendez is still fighting in the barn is the same. Because RE4 is really insanely fucking crazy long. And RE3 cut like half of that game away. And it just screams like, no, guys, don't worry. All the stupid RE4 shit. And boy, there's a ton of stupid RE4 shit is going to be in there. It would not surprise me if in the I'm going to say this right now, if in the launch trailer for Resident Evil 4 Remake in February or whatever it is, there is a cut of Oven Man exploding out of the goddamn oven to be like, no guys, don't do Oven Man. Oven Man is there.
This is the same company that literally showed Virgil in the launch trailer for DMC5.
Yeah, you're right. Oh man.
They're gonna show Verdugo. They're gonna show Los Dos Gigantes. They're gonna show Oven Man. They're gonna show literally everything in that launch trailer. So just to the chat, don't even watch the launch trailer because it will spoil everything.
Well, it's movie logic, right? It's basically just like, this is the last day thing before it comes out. If we don't already have you excited, fucking here's all of it. Who cares? Buy it. Anything. We don't care what we spoil as long as you go buy that ticket. You know.
By the way, if they do have Mendez stalk you as a Mr. X style thing, then they'll have Verdugo stalk you, and then they'll have Krauser stalk you as the primary antagonist of each of the zones.
So one of the big, to add to the final guy that you brought up, one of the big rumors leading up to this trailer announcement was that Krauser was going to get cut out of the game. And for some reason that rumor, silly. For some reason the rumor was so popular, but I did read an article from IGN, I think, where they said that Krauser is in the intro of the game.
Oh, great.
So
Perfect.
I don't think he's going to get cut. I think he's going to play a much, much larger role this time. Like, I think he's going to have, like you said, like, he's going to stalk you in one part. He's going to be at, like, multiple boss fights this time.
His original role didn't make any sense, so they would have to expand it because he's constantly referring to all those times he hung out with Leon.
Easy Allies said it. Sorry.
And you're like, I don't know what that is. Did that happen? It's not even, Dark Side Chronicles? Oh, that piece of shit? Okay, great. It's an important detail that
you just like put it in this game. Like, just give me a little flashback of that.
It's a good detail that you bring up that it was Easy Allies that made that good point, because IGN made a similar point about them cutting Huey out, which is fucking dog shit. It's complete. It's nonsense.
Like, if you guys really think IGN, if you're listening, fucking listen to me carefully. If you think Capcom is not going to capitalize on the "you can pet the dog" meme for like their biggest launch in years, you're fucking crazy. Like that
So
dog is alive and well. Like
so two things. One, yes, Capcom would like to do that, as we know, because in the Capcom leak, part of the Capcom leak was we need to put more abilities to pet the dog because it is really good for social media
Of
when
course.
you can pet the dog because the Can You Pet the
really?
Dog Twitter account is incredibly popular.
Hmm.
Yes.
What? I didn't even know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, no, that was a little
Oh my
tiny
God.
blurb in that gigantic Capcom leak, which is like we are absolutely catering to the Can You Pet the Dog Twitter.
It comes up in every game now as soon as a dog or a cat shows up on screen. It's become a
Uh,
thing.
I
But
didn't know
more than
that.
that is like IGN goes, "Wow, you don't save Huey in the beginning." And we went to the first room after the village brawl and saw a dead dog in a bear trap. Oh no, that must be Huey, even though that is the regular dog model. It's
Yeah.
not Huey. And
Mm.
in that area in the original, you fight dogs and there are dead dogs on the fucking floor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so fake news.
So like
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I
no,
said on
instead
Twitter. Fake news.
Instead, what will probably happen is you won't meet Huey at all until he helps you. And then
Um.
it'll be
Yeah.
like, hey, cool dog, bro.
So how do
And
you
So
I
guys?
sick.
my dream is that I hope that they kind of redesign this game as sort of like an open-ended like game, you know, like how Village was where you could come back to areas. And I'm hoping that
Mhm.
Huey just like sits there in that arena and you could just pet him whenever you want.
Oh,
Like just
if
rough
they
house
want
with him, you know?
to go maximum good boy points, what they need to do is they need to have the Elegante part have some form of like get through the fight with Huey, and then Huey then moves from the Elegante fight down the stairs to the merchant and then
Oh
just
my
become part of the merchant's like presentation for the rest of the game.
That is literally what they're gonna do. Like I'm calling it now.
So
Like
your
you just did it. Like you
dog's gonna
figured it
hang
out.
around. Cool.
Like
Um.
yeah, if you save the dog. Like that's your reward, is that he's your best friend for the
That's
whole game now.
that's good. That'd be good. That's
I
a good
would love
bit.
that.
Um.
Alternatively, I would like it if you save Huey in the castle and he never appears again until he throws you the rocket launcher
That's
against
not gonna
Sadler.
happen.
um. So how do y'all feel about like the glow up and face changes to some of the characters? Because I feel like Ashley and Luis look super different, whereas Leon must be the perfect 11 on 10 man, you know, and that will never
Yes.
change. But everything else is fair game.
Um,
Um, should I go first?
yeah, go for it.
I think Ashley is perfect because her design is it's half her original release design and half her 3.5 Hookman design. Like
Mhm.
if you guys don't know, for those of you in the chat, like there are files of Ashley from 3.5 in the original RE4 game, and I have always thought her original 3.5 outfit was a lot better than her like weird like early 2000s, but I'm wearing medieval like adventurer
Mhm.
boots outfit. So I think Ashley's like literally perfect. I also know her face model, so I'm contractually obligated to say this. She looks beautiful, you know. Her haircut is fantastic. I like how it's a little short bob cut.
I'm not.
Luis,
I
what were
don't
you
know
gonna
about
say?
the haircut. The
I
haircut,
like her haircut.
her fucking freak ass Dumbo ears are hidden away, and that's strange. That was like the
That's why
character's
they did it.
defining. Yeah, I know that's why they did it. They could have like, oh, pull her hair back, and she's like, "What the fuck is wrong with your ears, woman? Like,
Oh my.
why are they like that?"
So when I first popped in Silent Hill 3, had a hard time because I was calling Heather Ashley for
Yeah.
like at least the first hour, right? It was like, yeah, just oh god, what fuck. Especially because of their clothes, but looking at the design change with the jacket and such, like, and the hair, that now completely reads as a completely different thing. Like
Yeah,
there's no longer
totally.
a similarity there, I feel.
Yeah, and they did show a very quick clip of her without her blazer on, and so she just kind of has her like orange turtleneck on, and she looks
Mhm.
very similar to her actual release outfit. So we're gonna kind of get that like progression of like as her character changes, like so does her outfit. You know, like she becomes more confident. Like she's gonna lose the jacket, just like Leon, by the way.
Yeah.
Which,
Oh,
And just like Ada.
exactly, yeah, totally. Oh man, we got to talk about Ada in a bit, but like,
Let's talk about Lewis.
yeah, Luis
he looks different too.
He looks very different. I never really liked his like 16th century explorer outfit. Like he always looked kind of weird to me because he's supposed
He
to be
looked
like
like
a
he was
cop
from the
in
wrong
Madrid.
game.
Yeah. So now he just kind of has like a stylish leather coat on, which is nice. His face, he looks very sleazy, and
Looks like a
my
piece
gut
of shit.
reaction was like, oh my god, like why does he look like that? But then I thought about it and I was like, that is the face of a man who would compliment your tits to your face. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like he looks kind of like a villain, which I hope they kind of play that up, you know, like him being mysterious.
Well, it's
So
it's,
the thing
it's a
that-
different
that
energy
Ari-
from the Antonio Banderas man with the
Yeah.
perfect
Yeah.
locks, you know.
RE4 has like RE4 classic, I guess I'm gonna call it, or original. Like kind of has him as a
We're
misstep
old, Pat. We're
in
old.
which Lewis is like a massive part of the problem and a complete piece of shit. But he never feels like that. He feels like a buddy and a protagonist to Leon's like fancy Spain adventure, where it's like,
Yeah.
no, Lewis should look like a slimy piece of fucking shit because he is
Totally.
at fault for like 99% of the game's problems.
Yeah. And we do see him smoking cigarette.
So kind of like what's the scumbag from 5 again? Who just
Fucking Irving.
just looks like a scum piece
Yeah.
of shit from
Yeah.
moment one. You're like, oh, your face.
Yeah.
I hate your face. Yeah, okay.
I can't believe I remembered Irving's name. That character doesn't matter.
What do you mean? He's getting an extreme makeover.
Fuck, that's so. That character sucks.
He's the weirdest character. Like he's like from Brooklyn. It's like really, it's bizarre. But anyway,
But it's like designed to hate his face on sight, you know.
yeah, which he's based on a real person, so I feel bad for that person. But you know, some people just look like sleaze bags. Okay.
Yeah, like
Okay.
John Leguizamo.
Listen,
Fucking
I'm
hate
not.
John
Sure.
Leguizamo.
Or
I am not.
the McPoyles from Always Sunny. Like
Oh yeah,
Like-
man.
it'll get you gigs, you know.
Or
Exactly.
that Joffrey kid, the one from Batman
Oh,
Begins. That when you're watching
God,
Batman Begins,
yeah.
you're like, "What's wrong with this incest kid?"
Jack
and then he goes on to
Oh,
be the
no.
most famous incest kid of all.
Jack Gleason, I think. It's like he kind of like left the industry behind because he's just like, yeah, no, I'm good. I tried acting. I was good at it. Now I'm done. And he has
The
the
poor kid.
perfect face for being a douchebag. So yeah, no, exactly. That's what you'd be typecast as if he stuck around for sure.
Yeah, some people just look like that, and that's Luis in RE4 remake. Okay.
Absolutely.
So yeah, would you? I feel like 2 and like because I remember you were talking about how 3 was like kind of a rush job, right, Pat? But
Oh, it
like,
really was.
4,
You could feel it.
the importance of 4 is second only to 2, right?
Yeah, well, especially since they were the people who made 3 were supposed to make 4, and they were in the process of doing so, and then 3 came out, and then Capcom took it away from them and gave it back to the people who made 2, which is why this game is taking so goddamn long to come out, because it's not allowed to be like 3. It has to be
They-
like 2.
Yeah, they literally were
Wow.
like, "You can't. You guys
Okay.
can't do this.
Okay.
Can't do this again. This is
'Cause-
4. This is RE4."
Because, like, let's be real. I like Resident Evil 3. Nobody gives a shit about RE3. It's the cool one with Nemesis. But, like, me and Susie are going, where the fuck is the clock tower? Everybody
Yeah.
else is going, there was a clock tower in that game?
Yeah, it's like the RE1 part. It's like pivotal for the pacing of that game. Like the game is just like a nightmare of like run, and then you get to the clock tower and you're like, "Oh god, I got away. Like I actually got away." And then Nemesis comes back and you're like, "Oh shit. Like I didn't get away." Like it's very important for that game.
And
No.
yeah,
for a remake,
and take out the
though.
graveyard that has the cool Dawn of the Dead reference in it.
Yeah. Take out the park, graveyard, the fucking Dead Factory is now a future lab. Because RE2 remake did it. I guess we got to do it too.
Susie, are you gonna grab your your PSVR 2 headset and bust that out to see all the content. Yeah,
You know I
you
am. I'm
gotta.
very excited.
uh,
Well, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put that headset on and then try to look at Lady D's giant butt. That's what I'm gonna try to do.
It says a lot that like they announced that we're gonna have third person mode for Resident Evil
correct.
8, but not for Mercenaries because
I mean, like, I can imagine the PSVR version of the game booting up, and just the Capcom logo is just her sitting on your fucking face.
Oh my
Just
god.
Capcom. Like, yeah, that's what you signed up for. This is what you wanted. Here you go. VR. You bought it. You spent how much on that goddamn headset? Here you go.
Do you know, do you guys have either of you guys played RE4 VR on the
No.
no, I have
Oculus?
not.
So that game, when you get Ashley, if your Leon hands are anywhere near her, they disappear.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
So I have a feeling
Well then.
that they might do that for like Lady D or something. Like,
So is there like new scenes or new content in that? Because they're describing that there's going to be like VR specific content for the remake as well, and I'm just
um,
wondering if it's just going to carry over stuff they did in RE4 VR.
I wouldn't I wouldn't imagine so. I feel like the wording on it on the RE4 remake VR like is very I guess lax. Like there's not much. They haven't really talked a lot about it. So
Okay.
I'm assuming it's just going to be the whole game in VR,
I
which I
assume that
hope it
as
is.
well, and my assumption is off a very strange piece of footage. So remember Leon's roundhouse kick in RE4 original, where he does like a really high spin kick that flips him around.
Mm-hmm.
The new
Yes.
one has him kick to the right, and he doesn't spin around, which to me says so that you don't get vomit-induced
Oh.
spin on
Yeah.
the
Yes.
VR version of
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
kick.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because in the actual RE4 VR, when you do a roundhouse kick, it switches to third person. So you see Leon do it. You don't.
Nice.
Okay,
It's not in
that's a
first
solution.
person.
Yeah, that's the move.
Yeah.
That's the move. I mean, anything
Yeah.
dynamic like that, like all those mercenary moves, right? You just switch to third
Yeah.
person. Cool.
In the VR version is actually really well made. Like there are tons of little options that you can turn on and off for like climbing up a ladder. You could do that in first person, or you could just watch Leon do it because it's like really weird to just
Mm-hmm.
suddenly feel like you're standing in place and now I'm floating up into the air, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because
so
like all the
yeah.
stuff that was there's a lot of lessons that were learned from like VR era 1 and 2. Comfort cage distance and like walk speed are massive. You can get really discombobulated if you're walking too smoothly. You need to kind of emulate the bumps, or if you climb up a ladder, if you look
Oh
up
yeah.
and then have it be rung by rung, you can accept that way more than you can just accept video games sliding around the map. That's kind of the thing.
Yes. Yeah,
Interesting.
sure. But
Um,
yeah, I don't think they've really talked about the VR component of the remake, but I really hope it's just the whole game because I'd love to see all of the like RE Engine stuff like this close to my face, you know?
This is a bit back to what we were talking about before, but I'm not sure if Wooly saw all the footage or if he just saw the trailer.
I saw
But
the gameplay look, and I saw the cinematic trailer.
because there's like a 2-second shot talking to the stranger in the shop that would appeal to Wooly very much because you're still going to keep the attaché case, you're still going to keep your wide variety of weapons, probably more. But with all your new knife moves, the knife has its own upgrade tree associated with it,
Ooh, okay.
which I believe was like damage and durability were the two ones that you could see. Which,
Huh.
yeah, you're
Yeah, damage,
probably gonna,
durability, and then repair, so you can
yeah.
fix it.
Oh man, yeah. Well, God, just now you're gonna have like
You
knife
see him?
loss paralysis moments. Like even
Yeah.
harder. Oh, that's
You
sick.
can
Okay.
actually, I feel like somebody at Capcom was like, you know, I can't really do a knife only run in RE4, so let's fix that. Like, let's do parries and like down attacks and like actual normal attacks with the knife, you know?
Yo.
Like make it a super viable option.
Yo, time to start fucking lab knifing.
Yeah.
Knife labbing. Whatever. Yes.
So
Perfect.
And
this
then
is
you'll have
kind
a
of a
whole like free mode to do it in to play with your knife and mercenaries, you know? Like like you could do it.
yeah. The version of Leon is it's knife Leon with 6 first aid sprays or what have you.
Yeah, exactly.
So
If
I want to pull some. I want to go real big picture, pie in the sky shit. So one of the things that always really bothered me about the Resident Evil series was the first trailer for RE5 was a completely different version of the game that we ended up getting. For one thing, every single person in that trailer was black as hell and scary as fuck. And then they later changed it to be like a wider variety because of all the blowback, and then the game ended up still coming out insanely racist.
Oh,
But
do you mean the video that my mom got in her inbox and family got that was spreading around, just called "The Massacre of Africa.mp4"?
no, Wooly, I'm referring to you about the video that I said, Wooly, did you see the new RE5 trailer? And you said no. And then I sat you down and you watched it, and your mouth dropped open and you said the words, "Oh no, not scary black people, they're the worst."
That's the what. That's what they're doing. And then someone took the video, renamed it "The Massacre of Africa," and started sending it around to parents and concerned church folk as
God, it was like
as a means of like, oh, look at what they're doing now. Look at what these video games are up to.
So that's not what I miss about that trailer and that version of the game. The part of that trailer that I miss was
I know what
is
you're
a
gonna say.
2-second cut in
I
which
know what you're
Chris
gonna
is
say.
being attacked and can do god hand dodges underneath enemy attacks.
Yes.
He can clearly duck under swings.
He can
As a
also
mechanic.
just follow up a grab with a punch.
Yeah.
Yo.
And the animation plays out halfway in the final game, and you're like, where's my fucking punch?
Yeah, so
Why'd you
so
take that
that-
out?
So that game used to be a different, much cooler, and even more racist game. But I look at how we've gone from remake with defense items to remake 2 with moving and shooting to remake 3 with real dodging to remake 4 with knife parrying, and how they seem to be doing all of them. There is the potential for RE5 to actually come back in its pseudo god hand state, which
That's
I would
true.
like very much.
That would
I talked
be-
about this once on my stream, and
Yo.
I think if they ever remade 5, I think that they should literally make Chris a tank like character, where he is like the punchy like strongman, and Sheva is the fast like dodging with god hand dodges. You know, so they feel like different characters.
Yo,
you
put
know,
an
not
after image
just
on the
same
movement.
thing.
Just put an actual
Oh my
after
God.
image.
Imagine playing RE5 and being able to dodge spears with the flick of the analog stick.
Why do you have to say spears though? Like
Because-
what?
because
Because
the-
every
the-
time I
Maj-
play
the-
RE,
the
every time I play
Maginies.
RE5, I get to the midway and I go,
You-
how the fuck are they
No.
throwing spears at me?
It's-
How is this in the fucking game?
like you get
I
off,
can't believe it.
where I just remember the sequence where you get off the boat and the game turns blue and you walk into the village
Yep.
and the mask and spearmen come out and you're like, "Oh god."
I still think my favorite reaction of it ever is me and Paige played through the whole thing, but she had never seen it. She didn't know. And so we're driving around and out they come of the huts, and just like I could feel her whole body just go, "Oh no."
And
yeah.
And I'm just yelling at her to shoot them all, and she was very uncomfortable, but it was funny.
spears don't get thrown, Pat. That's the wrong verb.
Yeah, well,
They get chucked. That's the problem.
You know what? I'm gonna take this second to shit on Capcom of 2007 because when
Yes.
those trailers came out, I was like, listen, guys, we don't know how the whole game is gonna play out. They were pandering to fears of Spanish religious persecution with all that Inquisition shit in RE4, so it makes sense that they would possibly ignorantly of the current situation worldwide pander to fears of the Dark Continent. I'm sure it'll be God damn it! God damn it! God damn it! I look like a fucking asshole now.
Can we just put like, can we implement, okay, programmers, we need a texture randomizer so that the front row of every horde will contain one light-skinned person.
I couldn't.
They must be front row priority.
I'm like in the level and I'm like looking at my own Twitter statements in my mind's eye, going and putting them next to the blue natives throwing spears at me and fucking reading the goddamn note that goes, yeah, it's crazy. We infected them with the virus and they all turned savage and wore their traditional shit. Don't know why that was. I'm like, fuck. God damn it.
Where'd the loincloths come from? Okay. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was like earlier when we were talking about like they're not zombies, like someone in the chat was like, they're not zombies, they're Catholic. You're like, oh god.
That's good.
Yeah.
The Catholics can take it.
But
what are they complaining about?
Like, no one can pretend that the like there's not some absolute like the scary other is the monster vibe that is intentionally driving forward 4 and 5 with that shit. Let's not pretend, man. That's a factor, dude.
I'll just say, chat room, there's a good reason why I will push that RE5 retrospective back 1 year every year.
Oh, what? You don't want to talk about the Las Plagas reveal? Is when they're attacking that white blonde lady, the only one in the entire game.
The only one.
I mean, there's a moment. There's a moment where 5 comes out after 4, and you go like, "Is this franchise now just about doing the world tour?"
And the answer is yes, because in RE6 you fucking go to China.
You can go to China, yeah.
And you're fighting zombie triad mans.
Okay. Damn.
And then 7, the world tour, comes home to Louisiana.
We're back to beating up, good old hot-blooded Americans.
Yeah,
global
saturation. Louisiana is the other Middle America that Resident Evil takes place in. Resident Evil took place in like Wisconsin or some shit, like your average suburban like white middle America. But then you go, oh, what about the South? The South is weird.
Fuck off! They didn't call it this. They didn't call it the C virus, did they?
They did call it the C virus.
No.
And this was a years before.
So in 2019, when I'm going through my Resident Evil retrospective, where I'm marathoning through the whole fucking thing, and I'm in month 3 of lockdown, as I'm shooting all the Chinese who are coming at me with the C virus, I was very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable.
Wow. Oh my god. Okay. So no, 5 was just the second stop on the tour.
It's for Chrysalis. Chrysalis virus.
Yeah, Chrysalis. Let's go with that.
Global saturation, man. That's it. That's
Resident
incredible.
Evil.
That's incredible.
Resident Evil 1 through Code Veronica. Code Veronica has some sus stuff in it, but like I feel like that's like the safest era. It's got some sus stuff in it, but like that's the safest era where you could play those games and be like, okay, cool, I'm escaping. And then everything after that, you're just like, oh god.
The most sus thing in Resident Evil 2 is Wesker. Why do you have Rebecca's like high school jersey photos in your fucking desk? And we later find out that it couldn't be for something creepy because Wesker doesn't believe in sex. He only believes in shooting himself up with viruses. Because when Gianna is like, dude, fuck me on the pile, he's like, ew, gross, ew.
Yeah, he's
ew,
like, ew.
Yeah, but so then what's that photo about?
when he still
Okay.
had a piece of his humanity.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
still
Yeah,
had his
because that would have been
humanity.
before he shot himself up with the shit in RE1.
Yeah, see, it makes
Yeah.
sense. Makes
Before it
sense.
killed his libido, he was a pervert. Great, good,
Yeah,
excellent. We
yeah.
saved Wesker the
It's
character.
fine. It's fine.
So then, when does the gang get in the mystery wagon and hop on over to the UK and fight off the B virus, and then shoot a couple people and realize they were just speaking with accents and they weren't actually infected?
Oh my god. That happens off screen in Code Veronica.
Okay.
Yeah.
You do shoot British people in Code Veronica. She's right. Yeah, that does
Okay.
happen.
All right.
And God, I'm just trying to think. Because like Woolie has like all the mainline stuff, but like I'm just thinking of like, well, what would be a stupid location for Resident Evil to go? And I'm like, oh right, Terra Grigia, the stupidest location Resident Evil ever went. A fake super island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean that just gets completely wiped. Like 1 million people. It's the biggest thing that ever happens, and it's never
gets
mentioned
nuked.
ever again because it's so stupid.
It gets nuked by a satellite laser in space.
Fuck yeah.
So
This franchise is great.
it's pretty great.
So here's the thing,
by the way,
right?
we're like listing some of the dumbest shit in the series. Did you enjoy, Pat, this conference opening with Shinji Mikami, the guy that broke the series continuity with the original 4, being like, you know, in the past 5 years, hardcore Resident Evil fans come up to me and they tell me they don't like how the series has lost its continuity. It's like, didn't you do that? Like,
Yeah.
weren't you the guy that threw the 3.5 script in the garbage and was like, whatever, we just got to make the game. Just put it out. Like,
I think one of the biggest takeaways of the way we are talking about this and the conversation we had prior is that Silent Hill always took itself very seriously, even when those games are garbage. Resident Evil pretends to take itself seriously, but it doesn't. It really doesn't.
yeah.
It's schlock, and it knows it's
And the
schlock
games
deep
are
down.
so good for it a lot of the time. Like,
Well, so that's the one thing I guess I was thinking with the Silent Hill 2 trailer and such, is that like, are they going to be directed, are the voice actors going to be directed to be as weird about their cadence as the originals were? Because
I seriously doubt it.
in all 3 of those first games, the way everyone talks in every scene is fucking weird, and it's perfect. It's such
Some
an
of that
identity.
isn't direction. Most of that is because they aren't voice actors.
Yeah, right. Like Guy C, he was telling us about how he was told to say things syllable by syllable in with a certain inflection. You know, they were like, they were specifically told to say things a weird way, you know? And like,
and then he was like, whatever you do, don't take that vaccine. Like, just don't
right.
do it.
Yeah, exactly. But it was to the point where, when,
That was the last straw with Mary in the hospital.
whatchamacallit, when you're playing Dead Space and you're getting the clips of girl
Nicole.
yeah, and the way she's talking to you and like, Isaac, are you there? Like the way she's speaking, I'm like, that person feels like they were told to say things in a Silent Hill way, you know? Like it's a thing I can recognize now that I've seen it in these games. Without
It's
that.
also
I
talk
love,
like
I
you're
love Dead
dead.
Space.
Talk like you
That-
died after recording this. Be
Yeah.
the space version of, oh, Oliver, oh, let's play and let's have a picnic by the river. Oh, we'll tell our kids about this picnic, Oliver. Oh my God. But space?
Right. And then, of course, the most legendary thing is, how the fuck is that letter reading gonna go?
So Mary
That
gets
was
some voice
a
acting.
13 on 10.
Mary does get some voice acting in the trailer, and her voice reading of the original part of the letter is easily the best thing in that whole trailer.
I agree.
Okay.
I thought she
Okay.
sounded like perfect. Like I was
Mhm.
like, are they like voice matching her? Because obviously James sounds like really different.
I mean, I hate that, like, I can't, like, delete the original for a second to compare it on fair ground, because getting that raw, not knowing anything, like, that was, yeah, it's the best. It's just the fucking best, you know? So like now you automatically have to compare it, and it's like, okay, how's this gonna hit? This is what the whole game is. This moment, you have to carry that in this one letter reading, you know?
Very envious that you got to experience all three of those games like pretty recently. Like, I want to do that again. I want to do that. It was so cool.
Nah, you can't. You can't.
Can't do
It's
it.
too late. It's way too late. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, I really like that, like, in each game, there was, like, a single moment towards the end that just kind of, like, punctuates the fuck out of what you've been doing for the last few hours, you know? Like, that's what I like, I walked away from each of them going, like, okay, there's one sequence that just brings it all together, and, like, that's what this series is about. Now I get it, you know?
because we keep talking about RE and Silent Hill like it's fucking 2004 or something, and as you're describing, there's one really important that punctuates it. I'm like, in Resident Evil, the moment that punctuates what you've been doing is when you pick up an item, your character goes, "It's game over, man," and then you shoot the big monster with a rocket.
Right.
Jill, use this. You're our Amazon, Jill. Okay, Brad, I'm your fucking Amazon. Like, fuck off, tyrant. And then, just like, game over. You lose, big guy. You want stars? I'll give you stars. Lame. Like, it's perfect. It's perfection.
The one with Leon and two and Leon and Clara two and Jill and three. It feels like they're looking at me.
Yeah.
Like it, because it's not even consistent with their earlier dialogue.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
I
have the big gun.
You half expect to see the boom in the shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fucking boom mic is like right there. You know what it is, Pat? It's literally you're shitting and pissing yourself playing System Shock 2 for the first time, and you get to the final kill shot, and Shodan is like, "Please don't do this. Join me. Come on, you don't have to do this." And the main character, who has said nothing the entire game, the camera zooms in, and he looks into the camera and goes, "Nah," and then blasts her into the fucking stratosphere.
And then rock music starts to play.
Yes.
So
that's some totally dissonant shit.
That's Resident Evil. Like...
So, yeah, that's a week of survival horror. Making up for
the best of times and the worst of times.
Well, it was like from a desert, parched, dry situation into one where there's more ocean to go into here than you ever could have wanted.